We are here to sell the world on why Cincinnati needs to be the next host location for the World Cup. Look, as you know as well as I do, Cincinnati is on fire right now with the Bearcats' success, with the Bengals' success. We already had a dress rehearsal hosting US versus Mexico a few months ago and absolutely knocked it out of the park. We are exactly what FIFA's looking for. We're young, we're diverse, we've got that Cincinnati swagger, we're walkable, we lean into the arts, we're nationally ranked for our zoo and our parks. It's a no-brainer to have Cincinnati host the next World Cup. I'm going to talk to them about the bold vision that we have to move Cincinnati forward and how it's congruent with the values and priorities of FIFA. We care about climate. We care about racial equity. We care about moving our city forward in an equitable way, specifically about housing, and that's exactly what FIFA talks about. Cincinnati is the biggest city-led solar farm in the entire country. Cincinnati is the most connected city for fiber optics in the entire country. Our Procter & Gamble and Kroger corporate leaders have already committed to having a zero-waste World Cup. It's completely in line with what the leaders of FIFA want.
We're here at Soccerex in Miami, an international soccer expo to promote Cincinnati as the soccer city of the U.S., home of the best facilities, home of the best fan base. We have an opportunity to continue to promote Cincinnati to the world, both to bring international games to TQL Stadium, as well, of course, to support our 2026 hosting opportunity for World Cup. It's very important for Cincinnati to have a delegation here because some of the biggest decision makers in all of soccer are here. When you think about all the biggest international clubs, the different leagues around the world, the federations from around the world, as well as some of the soccer industry vendors who really support soccer. This is where they are for the next few days. And again, if we want to be the soccer capital of the U.S., then we have to be here meeting and building these relationships. All right, so FC Cincinnati began in 2016. And at the end of our first year, we had an opportunity to apply for Major League Soccer expansion and simultaneously send a letter to FIFA and US Soccer expressing our interest in hosting the 2026 World Cup as a part of what became the United bid. So from our first letter in 2017, Cincinnati's focused our hosting opportunity, our bid, on three important tenets: world-class facilities, world-class venues that'll support our teams, the teams that'll come in to Cincinnati, all aligned with FIFA specifications. Two, human rights initiatives. We're a very progressive, inclusive community, and we knew that that was going to be a key to World Cup and FIFA. And then three, of course, the fan amenities and the experience for all the tens of thousands of visitors who will make their way to Cincinnati for matches. So we've also been focused on the legacy of how hosting the world's largest sporting event can make a long-lasting impact in Cincinnati, right in the heartland of our country.
Cincinnati is the future. We are the future. Cincinnati is next. Our city is on fire right now. With all due respect to the other cities represented at this convention, Cincinnati right now is at the heart of America's sporting world. With our UC Bearcats going to the college football playoff, with the Bengals going to the Super Bowl, TQL Stadium, the newest stadium in the MLS, the crown jewel of the MLS, just recently hosted the US versus Mexico game and frankly knocked it out of the park. And like our teams, our city is diverse, is hungry. We've got that Cincinnati swagger. Our neighborhoods are dense and diverse and walkable with good public transportation. Folks, you can get dropped off in the middle of our city center and walk to a Major League Baseball game. You can walk to an NFL game. You can walk to a building designed by the late, great Zaha Hadid. You can walk to some of the top-ranked restaurants in the country.
Thanks, Jeff. So first of all, hospitality and Cincinnati are synonymous with each other. We have such a rich history of hosting major international events, national events, where the city just comes out and wraps themselves around these events. We want to treat our visitors like they live here in Cincinnati. You heard the mayor say that if you don't, choose Cincinnati, be here, be with us. And so for us, that means making sure that we have plenty of volunteers on the streets, making sure that the restaurants, the hotels, the bars, the retailers are all engaged in what we're doing, that the whole city, during 2026 will be plastered of World Cup soccer. So you won't have to turn far to realize what the event is and what's happening and what it really means to this community. There are a lot of communities that when these big tourism events come say, well, we're just going to stay in the suburbs, we're going to stay home, we're not going to be a part of that. That's not the case in Cincinnati. We come, we engage, we want to show you our city, we want to create a sense of belonging for our visitors that come because, again, nobody moves to a city that they don't visit first. And for us, it's about growing our population, about growing our city, growing our base, and to do that through these high-profile, really strong tourism driver events is one way to really show off the best of your city. And the great thing for us is when those events end and people go home, the excitement, the engagement doesn't end. We look to the next thing. What's coming next? How can we do this better and more often? So we're ready to roll it out. We're ready for people to come and visit. And when you come to Cincinnati, you're going to really feel like you belong there.
Yeah, as Jeff said, we have a tremendous business community in Cincinnati. We're fortunate. The company's put a lot of time, talent, energy into issues ranging from economic development to education reform, equity, but really aligned with, as Jeff said, our political and other civic leadership to make things happen in the community. And when the call came, as Jeff said, in addition to Carl Linder, his owner, and the co-CEO of American Financial Group, we made 3 other calls. David Taylor, the CEO of Procter & Gamble, Rodney McMullen, the CEO of Kroger Company, and Barbara Turner, the CEO of Ohio National. 3 phone calls, 3 yeses. They all stepped up and they said, this is something that we need to do. And they want to do it because they're proud of the city and they're proud of the heritage, they're proud of the arts and culture, they're proud of the restaurants and nightlife and all the reasons that our mayor just shared with you. And they want to share that with the world. Cincinnati is a welcoming place. You may have seen we want to welcome the world to Cincinnati and show what we have to offer. We also have a great sports history. The Bengals, as we talked about, the country's first professional baseball team, obviously the great rise of FC Cincinnati into the MLS. And we also view ourselves, I think, the business community views this as a Midwestern bid. It's just not Cincinnati. Cincinnati's in the heartland of America. And we have great support from partners Columbus, Cleveland, Indy, Detroit, and others. So business community is excited to show off the city and show what Cincinnati has to offer.
Already have an incredibly solid foundation when it comes to advancing human rights. And I'm going to talk just about a couple of the activities. One of those is a very strong partnership with the attorneys general in both Ohio and Kentucky. These are individuals who are deeply committed to protecting human rights. They have built out a network of experts who are not just prosecuting offenders, they're educating, they're training, they're protecting, and they very quickly engaged with us. We have their support and their resources today and every day leading up to that World Cup match in 2026. We already have businesses in Cincinnati like Duke Energy that are training their public-facing employees to recognize and report the signs of human trafficking. And we're engaging with and listening to rights holders, those who are most susceptible to the inequities. We want to know their experiences. We want to learn from them so that we can, in turn, implement sustained solutions. And I will assure you, the innovative entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well in Cincinnati, and we will leverage that spirit to make sure that there is equitable access to the tools that everyone needs to safely and securely experience World Cup play in Cincinnati in 2026.